All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Group Chart Analysis. It is August 20th, 2018, Monday. Monday, August 20th. Doesn't feel like a Monday. But needless to say, for those of you that watched chart analysis last night, or if you were on it, we did talk about certain pairs. Or if you were in the Telegram group, we did call a couple trades. We had EU. We were looking at EU, gold, GU, and AU, all for continued pushes in the up towards the buys, all of which shot directly up. So if you would have played those good stuff, you would have racked out. I didn't really touch anything on you, Chief. I've been staying away from the JPY pair. Wow, you Chief tanked too. Right, look where it tanked to. Right to the supply and demand zone. Literally right, and it wicked off of it too. Ooh, that's huge. UJ didn't really touch. This one is still tanking. GJ hasn't really done anything. It's just been consolidating its thing. EA, we're actually looking for this thing to drop very, very soon because it just retested up here. If you look at the 1 hour, it literally just bounced right off of the blueberry. So that's a huge indication. So what we're doing is we'll be looking for this thing to possibly like shoot up a little bit more, like towards where it wicked, and then you guys can be looking for re-entries for the sells. We'll be doing that. So let's go over EU. So we called EU for a continued buy last night. I didn't really see any divergence. Everything that I was looking at was pointing up. That's why we had it going up. And it's going up towards that 1 hour blueberry. Now it is right now hitting the 4 hour 144, which I believe could actually make it consolidate. So what we're going to be doing here, guys, because it's also Asian session, what we're going to have to wait for is a setup. I don't really see anything. Yes, it's overbought like crazy. It's getting into that extreme. I think that we're going to be seeing some sort of pattern happening either going into tonight or tomorrow. Okay, so because it's Monday, that means we're going into Tuesday. This might not set it because this is very early. Right now, what they're doing, they're shooting up hard as fuck because one, it's due for a reversal. That's why it's shooting up so hard. And now they're trapping traders. All of these people are buying right now because of how much momentum is moving. All right, we all know the trend. We all know where this thing is going. This pullback was due. Right, we knew this was coming. So now that we knew this was coming, what's the next thing we got to expect? We got to expect it to retrace and go right back down with the overall trend, right? In order for that to happen, this thing needs to consolidate. It needs to consolidate. So we're going to be waiting for this thing to throw some sort of consolidation. There's two zones that this thing could hit right now. It can either consolidate right here or consolidate on the Mayo. Now, knowing EU, it does stay true to like some of these EMAs. So if we're looking at this, we could expect this to actually shoot up another night, right? Because right now it just wicked off of the this overall supply and demand. What is this? What did I draw here? I draw this on the weekly. Oh, I highlighted it. That's what I did. Hold on. It's in the way. So it's going up. It's actually retesting. Do I have? Sitting here with Fibonacci on my shit, which I never use. There we go. So if you're seeing this, I'll draw it out. One that's hitting a supply and demand zone. Going off of the candle size. So it's going to be right there. It wicked right off of it, but I don't see any sign of divergence. I don't see anything yet. Meaning, you guys are not really going to be touching this. So what do I say if there's no signs of any divergence or reversals? You're going to continue with the direction that it's going. So on a shorter time frame, because I don't see anything on the hour or the 4 hour, you guys are still sticking with short-term buys because what this has to do is this thing needs to form an M, right? Because EU is not just going to go, it's not just going to drop like that. It's not going to do that. It's got to form a pattern. So it's waking up here, and it could consolidate, come back down, come up, throw some sort of multi-session M, and then what we'll be seeing is that nice drop to come back down. Now, I do expect it to go up to that the 1 hour water because of the lack of divergence. So expect another push up, and then come Tuesday, Wednesday for midweek reversal, we'll be looking for this thing to set up nicely for the overall pullback down to go with the overall trend. Right? So don't be looking for sells right now. Don't be pushing it. There's nothing here. There's nothing telling me this is going to be a sell. I want it to be a sell, but it's not a sell yet. So we got to be really patient. And that's because EU is like that. We're going to have to say the same thing for gold, GU, and AU. I didn't really see anything on that aspect, but right now, if you're looking at gold, gold shot up as well. It's going into that Mayo. It hit it. I don't see any signs of it slowing down. Right now, there is no divergence. It hasn't formed a clean-cut pattern. We're looking at the daily here. It could actually go up to test that catch-up at 13 EMA and then continue. If you actually look at all prior history, it hits it very often, and it hasn't hit it yet. So we could expect that to shoot up one more time, the same way as EU, and hit off of that catch-up, which is up there. So if you're looking at the recent support levels, resistance levels, you got this right here. You got this technically right here. So you have this overall zone, no divergence, nothing telling me it's going to be a sell yet on the 4 hour. 1 hour is hitting the Mayo. Nothing yet. 15 minute. Let's see. I don't see anything. Now it is divergent, which is okay, but this divergence doesn't necessarily mean big time reversal. The only way this could be a big time reversal is if it comes down here and forms like a head and shoulders and takes. I don't think that's going to happen though. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see just a slight consolidation here on the blueberry until the water comes around like so, for it to then bounce off of the blueberry and the water and then continue up. That's what I think is going to happen. So you just be really careful with gold. This one you don't really want to try to predict anything crazy unless there's a solid confirmation, and right now there's nothing here. So look for this thing to continue up. You can draw your support levels if you want to look at this. You can look at the level of 1198.57 or 1205.81. Those are the levels for gold that I would at least look for, or you can just draw the zone, however you want to do it. GU continued up last night. If you guys continue with that, that'd be good. Let me clean this up real quick. All right, so no signs of divergence. It broke the Mayo. 4 hour broke the water. Daily's coming up. It's hitting the catch up right now. So it just shot up. So we got to be careful on that. It could shoot up and then spike back down. GBP pairs can do that. Look at this weekly. So it's in the oversold zone on the weekly. This thing could shoot up a little bit for a small pullback. Daily, shark fin, that's why it's still shooting up. 4 hour, broke the water. Hour, broke the Mayo. What you guys are going to do is wait for this to, we're looking for best entries. Quick, come back down, and then shoot up from there. Or it's just going to literally say screw Ryan and continue up. But because of this, I want you guys to be looking for the continuation on GBP as well. So GBP USD would just look for pullbacks and try to get like specific points. Your take profits on here would probably have to be the most recent support and resistance zones. So like right now, it's hitting one. It's hitting one as we speak. Got that. You got here. You got here. So like all these zones that you're going to be looking for to possibly shoot up. Now, if it breaks this one, it's going up to here, which is really. 30 pips. It's not bad. You can easily grab some 30 pips and shoot your trades real quick. So, but just wait, because this is not likely. I don't want you guys. The reason why I'm saying to calm down with, I do see it going up. But what I want you guys to do is not get used to just buying this shit because it's going straight up. Because if you just buy it and you catch all that, that's not likely. It's not consistent. What's consistent is when it makes new highs, it consolidates, pulls back, and goes up. So yes, this could straight shot up. It could, but that's not a guarantee. And I promise you, if you trade that for a buy right now, you're going to be staring at your laptop or phone all night because you're probably going to go into drawdown. So my expert advice, if you will, would be to wait for this thing to pull back at least towards like that water a little bit. And if it throws a nice pattern, rebuy it, because this thing likes to throw divergent W's and M's, right? So if it drops down, it'll come up, it'll retest this high, break it. So if you guys wanted to put like your take profit at the high that's formed right now, or whatever high it forms before it decides to pull back, you can do that. And you'll grab some pips, so you can do that too. AUD USD. This one was probably the best setup out of all of them. I've been loving this pair. Let's see. Let's look at this. So it's going up. It's hitting the 144 right now. The daily is, I think this thing could actually get ready. This thing is going to keep shooting up a little bit, but I feel like it's going to all eventually drop back down. Right now it's getting close to that 4-hour Mayo. It should be the 1-hour Blueberry. It's like right there, yeah. So we're going to see AU shoot up a little bit more. There's news in it on 14 minutes. So be really careful of this. I would avoid this pair until it forms like a clean pattern. And these are my favorite pairs. So like if I'm telling you to I'm just letting you know, you may want to wait. It is divergent with 15 minutes. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. It could just mean a slight pullback to that water again and then a shot back up. Right. So if you want to draw your lines on where the 1-hour Blueberry is, you can do that. Draw from here, here. And it actually happens to be a nice support resistance line as well. So that's ideally where it's going to keep going. You guys are going to look for this thing to keep going up to the 1-hour Blueberry. Then it will consolidate, start throwing some patterns for midweek reversal tomorrow and Wednesday, and then we can play it for the shot back down. U-Chief was a little unexpected. Now, this thing tanked, which, I mean, it is unexpected, but where it's at right now and what it did is it's actually waking right off of the most recent supply and demand zone. That has been really looking at, like, it's actually been obeying it in a very good way for a while. This line, even though that's price right now, is also showing support resistance right now. So this is hitting a support resistance zone. It's in consolidation. It's just ranging. It's in supply and demand. Hasn't taken out any lows yet. This thing is still valid for a shot all the way back up. Now, how hard this pushed, that's okay. This thing is in a consolidation. This thing could consolidate for a day down like over here, and then it could shoot up for tomorrow or whatnot if there's news going into Wednesday or something, or Tuesday. But ideally, because of where it's at right now, I wouldn't really touch it. This is just something you're just gonna have to wait for the patterns to unfold. So just be on the lookout for U-Chief. It's not my favorite setup. It's not my favorite pair. I don't necessarily, or it's a good pair. It's just not my favorite pair right now because of the position that it's in. So I would just honestly just hold off on this and wait till you see some sort of M or W form, and then we'll come back on it. We'll look at reevaluate and kind of go from there. I don't think this thing's gonna make a move until like the midweek reversal. UJ, I was looking at earlier. This thing has been kind of doing its thing. I think we did expect a continuation drop. It has been consolidation. Now, it is in a zone as well that is susceptible to reversal. So if you see this, even though it's been shooting down towards that Blueberry, you have price starting here, right? So you have divergence from the bottom of this here. And if you draw it to where it's at right now, this thing is actually divergent. So it's divergent as we speak. You had price going up with the proper shark fin in the oversold region. And you have price from here going straight down in like a channeled line. If you actually, well, this actually looks like a bearish channel, or just a channel in general. So now that it's hitting this zone, that it's been 1, 2, 3 times respecting prior history, we could expect this to go back up towards that toward this actual trend line here. So what does that mean? That means you guys are going to be looking for reversal patterns, lower time frame, 15-minute, 1-hour patterns, W's, railroads, morning stars, whatever presents itself. So let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, so you guys are simply just going to wait. Wait on UJ. Oh, it's also hitting some support right now, so that's good. Wait for this thing to form the pattern, and you'll be looking to buy this thing possibly tomorrow, right? If not now in London session, definitely New York session. So this is, you guys are probably just going to have to wait. Honestly, you guys are going to have to wait till New York session because I don't see these pairs really forming anything until then. They still need time to consolidate and trap a little bit more traders. So just be careful on UJ. GJ, now this one's setting up for and it was posted in the group. It looks like an inverted head and shoulders. There's a couple things I was looking at before that I remember mentioning yesterday. Is that it is in the oversold region for GJ, but the thing is that the TDI, even though it's coming back inside of the volatility band, it actually looks like it could curve back out. So if you're looking at it from this perspective, this thing could curve right back down. That's what I'm seeing, and I don't want that to happen because it did form a new low, and with the new lows do come new highs, and I do believe that it is ready for a pullback. Now it's not it's not really the divergence that I look for, because if you're looking at it from here, that's not really a shark fin. It's out of the volatility zone, but barely. Like I have to question this. So the most I can see this thing doing right now, as much as it sucks to say, is it could go up to the water, but if it does not break it, you're reselling it. If it does not break it, that's the most. And this is the 4-hour. So if it breaks it and shoots up, then you can start looking for those buying potentials. But this is in such a tricky position. I mean, it actually looks like a bearish wedge if you look at this. If you're really going to draw this, you can draw it from here to here. Let's get ready to do something here. It's not the prettiest pattern, but it's like a wedge. It's like a bearish wedge. So unless it breaks out of it here, I wouldn't touch it. If it consolidates a little bit more and it breaks out, then my theory or my prediction of what I thought it would look like on the daily would be right. That RSI looks like it could come right back out of the volatility band and continue into the extremely oversold zone. The weekly's been due. I mean, the weekly, that's what we've been having this thing drop for the whole year. We've been saying it was going to be a drop since like when it hit the Mayo and through a railroad right there. That's when we were saying it was going to be a drop. We even drew all these trend lines. We called these drops over the last month or two. We've been calling these drops. So it's outside the volatility band. I don't see any signs of reversal. Short time frames, it could pull back, but this is still dropping. So these are all consolidation zones. And that's why I'm like looking at GJ like, this thing could continue. It could continue. So just be ready. That's all I can say. Just watch GJ. I don't think it's worth trading right now, but just watch it. All right, so EA. EA overall still looking for this thing to drop. It's been respecting this supply and demand zone up here through head and shoulders up top where it was overbought, divergence. We're still looking for this thing to at least go test the weekly water, which still has, according to this, from where it's at, 142 pips to drop still. So In which case, I told you guys that it was going to be consolidating because it is in between the Mayo and the water here on the daily. So going up and down is like that thing. It shot up. I was, we were talking to a friend, talking to Nathan right before the call, and we were saying that that EA, in order for this to be a nice sell, we would need to see it shoot up towards that Mayo on the 4 hour and the 1 hour blueberry. We got off. I got another call. It literally shot right up in a matter of minutes, wicked right off of it, and wicked all the way back down. Now, if you guys see in prior history here, every time it wicked off of it, it dropped. Right? Now, how many times is it going to do that before it actually ends up dropping? Because this thing is going to drop. I'm just saying, it's gonna take. Now, we missed that initial entry, so if anybody placed a pending on it, you would have grabbed it, or if you would have just waited and looked at the most recent resistance zone, you would have hit it as well. But it's okay if you didn't. Now, it's still no sign of divergence. It's still outside the volatility band. 15-minute is overbought, no sign of anything. This is also a euro pair and an AUD pair. This needs to form a nice pattern. It's not just going to drop. It's got to form an M. So if it pulls back, you'll be looking for the retest to come back up. If it comes up and it starts hitting the zone of where this massive wick is, sell it. Sell it. Re-enter. Get your pips, because it's not going up. I do not see this pair going up. Not right now, at least. Especially since AU is going to be overall rising today. That's going to be happening. So if AU rises today, we'll be looking for this to drop. Okay, so GA. What happened with GA? It consolidated yesterday. We wanted this to keep dropping. It pulled back to the water. It's oversold. Let's draw this. There. Look at here. We can do. Here. All right, so it's in that zone right now where it's consolidating between a channel and a trend line that's also been holding for the last couple of days, but it could easily break it because that's a fresh trend line. So I don't see any signs of reversal. It is below the stationary 50, no divergence, nothing telling me it's going to shoot up, at least on the higher time frame. So let me see this. 1 hour daily looks like it could keep dropping. 1 hour looks like it just threw sauce. Looks like it. It's not really sauce. Still below the stationary. I'm gonna say keep looking for sells on GA too, guys. Even though it's been consolidated, I'm gonna say look for the same shit. Look for continued sells. Opportunities would be stop on high, or if it comes up to retest that trend line we just drew, you could sell it there, which would be identical to either the 144 or the 200 EMA. So there's a nice pullback zone. So just be really careful with them. It's consolidating right now, so we'll see how it goes. But I do predict this thing to keep dropping. Okay. We were looking at GZ last night. That's right. I was saying be looking for this thing to sell. I said sell, and I was like, wait for this hour to close. It didn't close the way I wanted it to close, so I told people in my group to avoid it. But this is the reason why I don't really like looking at GZ. I just don't like New Zealand pairs. And it's still in the middle. So it hit that low, though. If you guys remember, I was telling you I drew up these lines, high, lows. You can fringe in between the trades, buy low, sell high. It came down and hit that low, that supply support zone, and it continued up. So right now it's in the middle. I don't like that. I would wait until you see more of a confirmation, but I would just not touch GZ right now. Just there's no point. G Chief overall still looking for sells. It didn't quite touch the Mayo yet, but it is divergent. It just crossed the stationary 50 in the volatility band, which is huge. So if you guys are looking at this in the 15-minute aspect, look for it to come back and retest here, and you guys can look for that drop again. So you guys are going to be looking for G Chief to drop. You can be looking for entries like between now and the next hour. It should show something, and then you can sell it. And then UCAD was the continued sell. So this one played out perfectly. We had this thing for continued sell. We were looking for it to pull back towards the water and the Mayo, in which case it pulled back beautifully. I think it was on the 1 hour water, sorry. It pulled back beautifully right to it and then tanked. All right, so we're going to be still looking for this thing to drop. It still do. It bounced right off of this trend line. The next low that it needs to test and break would be right here. You got that one. You have this low right here. You know, there's multiple zones, but it still has room. Yes, it's divergent, but do not trust divergence on UCAD. It's not worth it. Just keep going the direction that it's going. I believe this thing's going to continue down. So we'll see how that goes. If it decides to reverse, it'll be once it hits that 4 hour blueberry, but it's still got time. 4 hour is not even divergent whatsoever. So continue down until it goes all the way down to that spot. And that's what we're looking for. The news, AU news just hit. It really didn't do anything. No movement. What's EA doing? Damn, EA is tanking. Look at that. How many pips has it dropped since it hit it? 28 pips. Cool. So same thing, guys. Stick to the same analysis. Euro, gold, GU, AU. You're looking for continued rises until about tomorrow, New York session, or Wednesday, London session for the midweek reversal. All the other pairs, you're just being really careful of. EA, you're going to be continuing to sell. GA, you're going to be continuing to sell. GT is to sell. UCAD continued. So not a lot of pairs are doing anything right now. So just continue the direction that they're doing, and then we'll come back tomorrow and look for these midweek reversal setups so that we can grab some pips and go from there. Because some of these reversals that are coming, guys, are going to be massive reversals. We'll catch some good pips doing them. So. All right, guys, that's tonight's analysis. I'm going to post it up on the YouTube. Come back to it, and I might be posting inside the groups later tonight if I'm still up. But I'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 9, rack out some pips, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, guys.